So I sat down tonight to play some games, and I had this really strange response that I think has been building, but it built enough tonight that I finally recognized it for, I think, what it was, which is I was going to go into Unicorn Overlord, or maybe back to Elden Ring. I was looking at some other games I'm playing. I was playing Dragon's Dogma possibly, or Banishers, or if you go over to Xbox Game Pass, I was thinking about playing, where did it go? Something I was playing in here. And I had this feeling of just like, oh, it's going to come to this point where it's going to get really hard. And then I'm going to be stuck. And then I'm going to have to spend a day or 2 or 3 days figuring it out and putting in that work to really get over that hump. And maybe there's only one hump. Oh, I'm also over on Steam. I was playing the excellent Pepper Grinder, and I was thinking about that, playing that. But I was just like, I'm going to get to a point where it just kind of falls apart again. And it's just like, oh man, what am I, am I going to abandon the game? Am I going to, muddle through it because I just want to say I finished it because I wanted the experience of finishing it, even though I didn't enjoy it. And so I think my point is I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to abandon a lot of games, and I'm maybe starting to get to the point where I'm comfortable with it, because I think it's easy to kind of look at that like I guess I was just going to say failing, like, oh, you should stick with it and this, that, and the other. But it's like, I heard American McGee say something a long time ago, and someone recently said it and got pressed for it. But I'm like, American said that. It's the first time I heard somebody say it, which is, he says, you don't sit down and read a book and halfway through the book, it gets harder to read. Like the language changes and you're like, oh, this is a much more difficult thing to read than it was. But there's something about difficulty ramping in games that, and again, like I said, I don't know if it's age, or if it's just I've played enough games now that I'm tired of that feeling. But there's something about difficulty ramping in games where it's just like, I'm almost like, I don't want to start. I don't want to start this thing that's going to be a 20-hour experience, and at hour 11, I'm going to hit some wall, and it's going to be, okay, I got to get good. And, I don't want to get good. I mean, I don't mind getting good if that's an enjoyable experience, but I'm just wondering, am I the only one experiencing this? Like lately, I'll play a lot of Marvel Snap, and I'm not great at it. I don't mind losing, but I'm genuinely engaged. I've been playing Botany Manor, which just came out. It's very, I think, short. You don't really get all that stuck in it. I've been playing the shit out of this game. Slice and Dice, this thing's excellent. But these are all kind of like, it's not like narrative based where you're just trying to, this is almost more like Slay the Spire or something, right? I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because I'm like, I'm feeling that more and more. And this was the first time where I had some time to sit in game, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play Unicorn or Banished or whatever. Banishers, and I'm just like, I don't want to. Not that I don't want to play the game, not that I don't want to have the experience of playing it, but I'm like, I just know what's coming around the bend. Unicorn Overlord is probably a 30-hour, 40-hour game, and I'm probably about 14 hours in, and it's going to come to a point where I'm just like, oh, it's really hard. Now just give up on it or commit. I'm like, I don't want to commit. Maybe I'm just burnt out. Maybe I'm just tired. I don't know. But I don't have this with movies or books or TV series that I like. And this is not somebody like, oh, games should be shorter. I mean, I think a lot of them should, but that's irrelevant. And I don't even know if it means games should be, what I do? That's what I do think. I think games should adapt the difficulty to always keep you in that Zen zone. You should never, unless it's just a very specific vision of the creators, you should never experience the game getting hard. It should just always be engaging. But the minute it gets hard, the minute you have to decide, are you willing to put the work in? And I don't want to put the work in when I want to, wrap the day up and just chill and play a video game. I just want to relax. But again, maybe it's an age thing. Let me know in the comments or hit me up on Twitter, wherever you find me. I'm for the first time articulating this. I'm curious, am I alone in this? All right, be well.